So here's the question, CD or vinyl? So this issue has been visited many times, uh, even by me. But now let's have a look at it from a different standpoint, because all the time people want to find out which is better. Is CD better or vinyl is better? Which sounds better? I think it's personally a very subjective thing. Some people just prefer CD, other wouldn't consider anything else than vinyl. And I would say both of these camps have some issues with their selection. Those people who only listen to CD, they have not heard good vinyl systems, and those people who are into vinyl exclusively, they haven't heard good digital systems either. So I think that part of the question is taken care. And however, now there's a very different standpoint, which is if you got into audio recently and you are mostly streaming, and maybe you have noticed that streaming is not as good as you hoped it to be, and you know that there is more to it than that. One way to upgrade would be to get a better streamer, which would be like a really expensive experience. Streamers can get super duper expensive, but no matter how expensive they get, every single time when me and my friends tried streaming versus CD from a transport and a DAC, the original, always without exception, sounded much better than the streamed version. There is absolutely zero contest between that. And even those who are into streaming only, they do, and they have been subjected to such comparisons. They know that streaming does not have sonic advantage over CD, but it has a huge convenience advantage, up to the point when you realize that your streaming company doesn't stream your favorite song anymore. Uh, so eventually, for example, here what you see is my Rush collection, and goes from the first Rush album and on in chronological order, and it stops at Snakes and Arrows. And you might notice that as time goes by with Rush, the mastering and recording engineering quality is just plummets. And me and Ali, we just have stopped buying Rush past that point, because basically the top row has tragically bad sound. And then even though like we are really hardcore Rush fans, hello my friends out there in Canada, in Toronto, this is also for you. But recently it's their new albums is just such a pain to listen to them, because the music is absolutely great, but the recording is you have to really play it through a boombox or through your cell phone to enjoy it. Once you hear it on a good system which allows you to hear what is on the recording, then it's just absolutely deplorable. Anyway, so that's just an irrelevant rant. However, if you, for example, you are a Rush fan and you have a friend who has a collection and he's giving it to you, then that's a no-brainer. Start with CD. And in this case, just an FYI, I also have a vinyl version of several of them, and the vinyl in Rush just it's like 10 times better than the digital version. So if you are a big Rush fan, go for vinyl, because All of their early recordings, which are also issued on vinyl, sound way better on vinyl, and their new stuff just sounds horrible. You really don't want to listen to it at a higher quality system, because they have severe phase issues, and the band knows it, and everyone who's involved with the production knows it, and they've been trying out new things, but they just can't get it done right. So there's an exception, like there's Vapor Trails, and supposedly they have done a remastering in it, and the remastered version doesn't have the phase issues anymore. Anyway, I'm talking too much about Rush, but honestly, you can't talk enough about Rush. So now let's rush to vinyl. And here I have a few selection which illustrates really well what vinyl is really all about. If you want to listen to the two Oistrakh, David Oistrakh and his brother, Igor Oistrakh, and they're playing Bach's violin concert, and this on CD honestly sounds like way inferior compared to the vinyl. And if you in general want to listen to violin, then I would say go for vinyl, because you will find fulfillment much easier with vinyl on instruments which require harmonic details, harmonic resolution, musicality. So if it's about details, nuances, connecting you to the soul of classical music, wood-bodied instruments, then vinyl. Here there's Theodor, Swedish jazz. It's just kick-ass. It's just such phenomenal music, and how it sounds. Digital doesn't give you this ambience. By the way, when you listen to digital, they all have like the same signature. It's kind of like you have the same player, and whatever you play, it has the character of it, like the same character, and it doesn't matter which record, which label, what kind of music. Is it heavy metal, is it violin concerto, or is it harp, whatever, all of them have the same signature in it. It's like eating a sandwich with the wrapping, and doesn't matter what kind of sandwich we are eating, it comes with the same wrapping every time. With vinyl you don't have that. If you have, like, let's say you play these four records, they will sound as if you had four completely different stereo systems. And when you play these vinyls or any of the ones I have, all of them will have the same or remarkably similar sonic signature. So that's one reason to go for vinyl. If you are into streaming and you are not satisfied with it, then there's a good chance that you won't be satisfied with digital either, because digital is CDs either, because CDs are more like a perfected version of streaming with greater musicality and much better emotional content, and also better resolution, imaging, etc. when you think about these audiophile terms, but you are still in the same sonic universe. So if you are bored with the streaming version and you are not satisfied with it, then the CD will take it up a notch, but you will be looking, it's kind of like the same dish but served in a much better restaurant. It's like moving from a one Michelin star restaurant to a two Michelin star restaurant. And with LP, it's like you are going to a totally different world. So it's not just like a small jump in quality, but it's a very different way of approaching music and musicality. And I can't really describe it better than that. You have to experience it for yourself. At the beginning level, you have an easier job of putting together a CD system at a budget that will be of high quality and give satisfaction. But for LP, it's feasible as well. Just get a used table, for example, a Rega P3 or a Technics direct drive table. Get a really good cartridge, so do not burn too much money on the table. Just get a good used table, get a very good cartridge. I would say like I can recommend Audio Technicas, that's what I've been using, and my recommendation with them is that they scale up. So they are an extreme bargain. You can get a really good MC, low output MC cartridge for the ATF7. That's under $300, and it will play wonderful with a more bottom line phono stage, or but when you scale up your phono stage to a really high-end one, then that Audio Technica cartridge will step up really big time, and its performance will be close to $2,000 cartridges. So that's one way of doing vinyl. Focus on your cartridge and focus on your phono stage. For phono stage, I can really recommend the Hagerman phono stages, the cornet, Jim's cornet, and here I can show you, this is my cornet. So when we had the cornets initially, he had them in a DIY kit versions. So this is the kit I built. Now it's been like 18 years ago or so, and it still works. And not just works, but it's a giant Slayer. The board was, I think, $90, and Nelly got it for me as a Christmas present. So I think that's an audiophile's dream, that your wife or girlfriend gets you audio gear for Christmas, right? Wow, it's true. And and this is our collection, Rush collection together, and actually most of them were collected by her to both of our enjoyment. So anyway, this little phono stage is just absolutely phenomenal, and during those 18 years I've been A/B testing it against phono stages in the $2,000-$3,000 range, and it just totally smashed and destroyed and abolished them, like really in a big way. Anyway, so let's get back to these LPs here, and for example, if you are looking at Jazz at the Pawn Shop, it's a fantastic LP, but there's also a CD version of it which is equally phenomenal. So if you want to listen to Jazz at the Pawn Shop, you can choose either of them. But I warn you, by now they must be extremely expensive, both CD and LP versions, and they probably go for really big money nowadays. I can also show you this record in a CD version. Yeah, it's so-so, but this is really special for me because this is the record that really got me hooked into audio for good. So that's the one that I heard in the Ongaku system 20 years ago, and it was just utterly magical. And if you want to recreate that experience, you might be able to do it, but I couldn't do it because, as I later found out, my copy is not a very early pressing, and it doesn't sound nearly as good as that first pressing that was played on the Ongaku. So it's still a very noticeable, very enchanting recording, and still quite a bit better than its CD version. But if you are buying something because you remember how it sounded with records, there is no guarantees. You might get a copy which sounds much better than you heard before, or you can get one which doesn't sound nearly as good. That comes with the territory, that with records are life and unpredictable. So you can go to the heavens or you can sink to the hell with it. And with CDs, it's like if you want to buy permanent waves, you get any copies of the CD from any seller and they sound the same. Unless it's crashed and doesn't work, but it's a whole different scenario. So anyway, and if you are into CD, this is another little recommendation. So I do not keep them in their plastic sleeves, but I transfer them to these nice plastic ones. So you can see they are the original CDs, and when they are in this format, they occupy much less space than with their big, bulky, heavy plastic wrappings. There are some exceptions, of course, like here, different stages. I kept the original because it's not that plastic thing, but it gives you something more. So in these cases, I hold on to the original packaging. And for records, I don't do such barbarism. I keep them in their original cover because there's no way how to reduce storage space or weight. So maybe this little trip to CD land and vinyl land helps you to give some pointers how you want to grow, or what kind of collection you want to build up. One more thing is that now the CDs start to get more and more expensive, and it might be a situation that you have to look around how does it work in your area. But in my area, it's much cheaper to get used vinyl than used CDs. So that's something that you can think about. So thank you for checking in. I hope you can find whatever media and you will be happy with, and bye bye.